We now know the truth behind Detroit Red Wings forward Alex DeBrincat and whether or not he could request a trade. Spoiler alert, he ain't gonna do that. We also had a Detroit Red Wings signing from yesterday that I wanted to go out there and take a look at over here. This is a really interesting one because it's like, hey, who's making the signings if Stevie Y is out? Is he out? No, he's the acting GM. Whilst they're trying to find his replacement, isn't he? Stevie Y still making moves, wheeling and dealing, even though this isn't really his job anymore. Maybe it was somebody else, who knows? But either way, today we're talking about Carter Gylander, the recently signed Red Wings goaltender, as well as the latest on an Alex DeBrincat trade request. Let's go into the scoop here. DeBrincat is from Farmington Hills, Michigan, USA, 28 years old, and he is signed till the end of 2027, making $7.875 million a year. Pretty reasonable contract for a guy who just put up 85 points in 82 games. Talk about a career year for the ages. Alex DeBrincat has been a stud these past few years. Guess what, though? I feel kind of bad. And I feel bad because DeBrincat hasn't made the playoffs since 20 with the Chicago Blackhawks. That was the only time he had suited up in the postseason in the National Hockey League. And he actually did pretty well. 6 points in 9 games. That was 1 year removed from having a 40-goal, 76-point year playing alongside a Patrick Kane. In fact, Alex DeBrincat has been pretty stable as a top 6 NHL point producer. But I do feel bad, right? Man, this guy hasn't made the playoffs in 7 years. He must be itching to make the postseason, right? Well, there are a number of ways to go about and scratching that itch. Either you can be a part of the solution, or you can ask out. That seems to be the two different ways that these Michigan guys are thinking about it. Hey, guess what? Dylan Larkin hadn't made the playoffs in over a decade. He's a hometown guy. He's the captain of the Red Wings. And how does he address his desire to make the playoffs? He asks out, he gets the GM kicked out, and he doesn't expand his trade list. What about Alex DeBrincat? Well, let's go out there and read some of the reports that have been going around on social media, courtesy of Bob Duff. The Red Wings are not going to lose Alex DeBrincat to a trade request. That is not going to be a concern. I didn't have a lot of doubt about DeBrincat staying, the Grindline podcast said. He came here for family, and he has a really good situation. Give him what he's worth, and I don't think he'd have any problem signing long-term. You need good vets that want to be here. And I like this comment a lot. It articulates something that the Red Wings kind of need right now. Leadership. Guys who just want to be Red Wings. Yes, leadership comes from all facets of the organization, and it comes in different shapes and sizes. Mo Seider's a big dude, DeBrincat relatively small dude. Raymond, he comes from Sweden. He's bringing some pretty good leadership too, but there is something to be said about American guys who are from Michigan, who have connections to the team and to the area itself, deciding in the face of all this controversy, this tough summer, the falling out of the playoffs, this, that, and the other thing, there's something special about guys that choose to be a part of that and say, hey, even though things have gotten a little tough, I still want to be here. I still want to play for the Detroit Red Wings. I want to have that wing wheel on my chest. I want to be a part of the solution. I don't want to be the problem. Take notes, Dylan. Now, let's shift our gears over to the Red Wings signing that was announced yesterday. Carter Gylander. This was posted onto the Detroit Red Wings subreddit. The Red Wings have signed Gylander to a 1-year, 2-way contract. pretty good deal for a guy coming out of the Grand Rapids Griffins and the Toledo Walleye this most recent campaign. Gylander is 25 years old, 6'5", 190, a left-handed catching goaltender who was drafted by the Red Wings in the 191st spot in 2019. It's been a long time coming for Carter Gylander. And it's been a long development path, too. He was taken out of the Sherwood Park Crusaders of the Alberta Junior Hockey League, the same league that names like Cale Makar and Carter Savoy were taken out of? Yeah, not Matthew Savoy, Carter Savoy, that's what it was. And Gylander inevitably played 4 seasons with Colgate University in the NCAA before suiting up for the Grand Rapids Griffins and the Toledo Walleye in the previous 2 years. He's been fine in the ECHL, but for whatever reason, Gylander in his AHL stint absolutely stood out in a positive way this most recent season. 8 AHL games and a .942 save percentage plus a .162 goals against average. If I'm not mistaken, is that better than everybody else that suited up for the Grand Rapids Griffins in net? Yes, it is. Goodness gracious, man. Michael Postava, 937 in 25 games. What a monster he was. Sebastian Cossa had a 915, and he played 39 games, but of course we all recognize that Cossa ain't sticking around anymore. He is a mammoth now. So with Cossa out, Augustine coming in, signing, and Gylander also being a part of the squad, that gives some pretty interesting options available for the Detroit Red Wings. You can have a guy like Michael Postava take the backup role with the Detroit Red Wings. Have John Gibson as the 1A, have Postava as the B. You don't have Cam Talbot anymore. Unfortunately, that guy is, really old. No disrespect to Cam Talbot. Obviously, we acknowledge the body of work that he was able to provide for the Red Wings and for every other team he has played for. He's played for a ton of them over the past few years. But he's 39, so it's kind of that time to move forward into younger territory. Postava allows the Red Wings to do that. Carter Gylander, oddly enough, he's older than Postava, but still, there are some interesting pieces of potential that still lay in this goaltender. There are some comments on the Red Wings subreddit that I wanted to go out there and read regarding the Carter Gylander signing. The new GM is walking to an absolute surplus of goalies, even with Cossa traded away. Yeah, that is true. There are a number of guys available, and there will need to be choices made. CMC the GOAT says, Gylander deserves a shot in the AHL. His numbers have been great. 11 games played, .912, 215 goals against, and a .926 save percentage. It feels like a prove-it deal for the AHL if Postava gets a look with the big club, which for the love of goodness please do, and don't waste another goalie development. So, if everything works out, you can have Gibson Postava with the Red Wings, and then in the AHL, Augustine Gylander. How does that sound? Pretty great if I say so myself. There are a number of ways that you can think about the Red Wings and their goaltending, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think everything is going to fall into place? Also, how do you feel about the Alex DeBrincat trade request being shut down? This guy ain't leaving. He's like Jordan Belfort in that Wolf of Wall Street movie. I'm not freaking leaving. Although, to be fair, it's not like there was a threat of him leaving in the first place. There were some people bringing it up like, hey, because Larkin's going to be leaving, does that mean Alex DeBrincat's going to want to leave too? Well, I guess we got our answer. Seems like it's not. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.